I don't know if you can see me. Oh God. Hi Juvix. Hello. I just wanted to start off by saying thank you to everyone that came in last week, and I went back and watched all of the comments, and I'm going to do the same again this evening or tomorrow. It's nice to have people come in and say hello, and obviously when I'm sitting here I can't like watch the chat as well because I'm talking and I can't multitask, so I say. I know, Rose. But yeah, this week I'm going to be talking about financial abuse. With my domestic violence, when I was with the person I was with, I had an 8-month-old son as well then, and you know, at the beginning everything was lovely. He would treat me to nice things, treat me special, really treated me, you know, like I'd never been treated before. So I was sort of like taking it all in, loving it. And then as time went on, and obviously as I got like more punches to the face, everywhere, he just sort of took control of all my money. So, you know, before I got with him, I was doing like my banking, paying my bills, phone bills, electric bills. And then before I knew it, I wasn't even doing that anymore. So obviously he had held of my cards. And then as time went on, he must have been doing stuff with my name and my address because things were being delivered to my home, and obviously they weren't for me. So, you know, I don't know what he was doing with them items. He was obviously selling them. But yeah, so I didn't have no control of any money. My finances were gone. I don't even remember, as time went on and the beatings got quite bad, you know, I was quite dazed a lot of the time. And obviously he was drugging me as well. So I was like having medication put into my drinks. But yeah, he was in control of all the money. I wasn't allowed to eat sometimes, but I also had an 8-month-old son as well. I'm just going to let my dog out 1 minute. Sorry about that. Typical. Picks a moment to go to the toilet. I'm doing a live, Callum, just outside because they need the toilet. Yeah, I am. Yeah, I will in a minute. They're just going to the loo. Yeah, so obviously I had an 8-month-old son then as well, and I remember one day, which breaks my heart to this day, and I just can't forgive myself. You know, I remember him coming into the house all happy, and then obviously this is where it comes from last week with the I can't say this word, but manipulative and coursing. It's like a control. So he would come in all happy, and then looking back now, I knew something was coming. So obviously something was coming when he was always happy. But yeah, I can't forgive myself for this day. But you know, I'll never forget, if you've watched my video, my first video, he picked my 8-month-old son up and put him in a high chair. And he got spaghetti hoops. Do you know what? I've never fed my boys spaghetti hoops, and I think it's part of myself that punishes myself. But yeah, he put it in the pan, and he bubbled them up so hot. He then put them in a bowl, and he basically force-fed my 8-month-old baby hot spaghetti hoops. And every time he was screaming and I was running to him, I was getting punched in the mouth. And I just can't forgive myself. But going through like my healing and like the Crystal Santrum sisters and 2 of my friends on here, Steve-O and Judith, chatting to them about certain things that you've been through and stuff, I now sort of realise it isn't my fault, and it ain't your fault. So when you're going through domestic violence and people say, why didn't you get out of it, and stuff like that, fear is a fear. I think fear takes over, and but I was controlled by fear, because I don't move, I don't speak. If I moved, speaked, I got hit all the time, you know, to the point of the degrading point where, you know, I wasn't allowed to go to the toilet. He isn't, he's out there.
No, it's not. It's right, isn't it?
No, it's not.
Boss.
And you know, I wasn't allowed to go to the loo, and you know, when you need to go, don't you, for a wee? And you know, I wasn't allowed to go to the toilet, and if I tried to go to the toilet, I'd get hit for it. So I think the most degrading part of the violence for me was when I'd wet myself and I was made to stay in my underwear for like days. It's degrading, absolutely degrading through domestic violence. But you know, you learn to, when obviously, because I broke free, because that's what I did break free in the end, after being backed like so severely that they did have to bring me back to life. But you know, I'm proud to be a survivor, and I'm a survivor for a reason, you know. And you know, if I can just help one person, then I'd be so happy and blessed, because you know, we're survivors, aren't we? But going back to the financial abuse, that's what I'm touching on today. It's about controlling your money. There's my girl, look. You're a good girl. I want to like, yeah, it's about controlling your money. And I'm just going to have a break, if that's all right. That's okay. Sorry about that, everyone. My son put it on mute. So I started the camera and started talking to myself. Nothing new there. Always talking to myself. But yeah, so I just wanted to sort of like, you know, get that out there again, because I know sometimes you don't want to sit and watch like a whole hour video, and you know, it's quite long sometimes and boring. But yeah, I just want to thank everybody that's come in this evening and joined me. But yeah, I will look back, and obviously I'm just going to keep like watching who keeps coming in and who don't. I'm just going to keep sort of keeping an eye on my chat now, and watching, looking back at my own videos and seeing who comes in and chats. But yeah, so I'm going to just touch on what is meant by financial abuse. So financial abuse is a type of abuse which includes having money or other property stolen, being defrauded, being put under pressure in relation to money or other property, and having money or property misused. Financial abuse is viewed as a crime because holding or lying about money takes active and deliberate planning. And many people in a survey view it as worse than cheating physically on a partner. So in the case of this abuse, this is a completely justifiable crime. So what is a financial bully? In the case of financial bullying, a person holds power and control. He or she intimidates over another person regarding the money matters. Mostly it happens in a relationship. It can be a marriage or a live-in relationship. Sorry, just going back on my notes. I'm not prepared. Or any other personal relationship. So who is at risk of financial abuse? A study has shown that women are twice as likely as men to be victims of financial abuse, especially the elderly between their 80s and 90s, or living alone. Those who are single or widowed are also at risk. Okay, so how can you spot financial abuse? So they say sometimes people borrowing money and not giving it back. That's true, because sometimes you do borrow money and it doesn't get given back sometimes. Taking control of your bank accounts, that's what my ex-partner done to me. Stealing money or belongings. Taking a payment for coming to visit or spending time together. Forcing someone to sell assets or property without consent. Adding their names to your bank account or causing you to change your will. Taking out credit in your name without your knowledge or consent. Taking money or using credit cards without your permission. Running up your credit history by running up limits and then not paying bills. Trying to control your use of your access to money you have earned or saved. Okay, so what are the effects of financial abuse? Financial abuse can leave women or men with no money for basic essentials such as food or clothing. And that's true because I didn't have no money. I wasn't allowed anything, like no money, nothing. You know, when I went into the refuge, I went with just the clothes that I was wearing, and I had nothing. I had to start again from losing everything, you know. But it can leave them without access to their own bank accounts, with no access to any independent income, and with debts they have been built up by abusive partners set against their names. So financial and material abuse also includes theft, fraud, internet scamming, cordial affairs or arrangements in connections with wills, property inheritance or money transactions, or the misuse of property possessions or benefits. Okay, so what are the warning signs of elderly financial abuse? Because the elderly are quite vulnerable, where I was quite vulnerable as well when I met my ex. So it normally does happen to the vulnerable, don't it? Sudden changes in bank accounts or banking practices, including unexplained withdrawals or large sums of money by a person with the elder you're not aware of. Okay. So who is responsible for most crimes of financial abuse of the elderly or vulnerable people? So according to a new survey, 2/3 of financial crimes against the vulnerable or elderly are perpetrated by family, friends, or other trusted individuals. Financial fraud against the elderly is most often perpetrated by those closest to the victim's family members, friends, or someone they trust. So who can perpetrate financial abuse? So someone taking control of your bank accounts, adding their names to your bank account, taking out credit in your name without your knowledge or consent, or forcing you to change your will. Just repeated that all over again, I think. But never mind. Okay, so what to do when someone takes advantage of the vulnerable or elderly. So you talk to them about it, gather more information or evidence as to what is occurring, contact your local services to protect them, and if none of them work, contact the police if you think anybody is being financially abused. When I was going through my domestic violence, I just wish I was strong enough back then at times just to, you know, if the help was there for me, you know, it could have saved me a lot of the time. So, you know, if you do think anybody is going through abuse, or you're even going through any sort of abuse, you know, you can contact me honestly on my about page if you want to talk to somebody. You know, I'll always answer you back on my about page. I know I'm not good with getting back to people on the phones, but I will do if you need me. I'll be there, I promise. But yeah, this one was a bit hard for me this evening, but I'm glad I've done it. But I like to end it on positive quotes. Just want to remember, you know, you don't owe anyone any explanation for your boundaries. It's not mean to have them. It's healthy. It's only once we can assert ourselves and say, I will not tolerate X, Y, and Z, that we can be whole, healthy, and not in bondage to someone, but instead stand free in a relationship. And we survived because the fire inside us burned brighter than the fire around us. And never be ashamed of a scar. It simply means you were stronger than whatever tried to hurt you. And I know that, you know, I spoke about it last week about my 3 scars on my face, and you can see them. And I know my friends say, oh, you can't, but you can. I see them every day. But you know what? I'm learning to be proud of them, because I am who I am, and you know, I have a good heart, and you know, I'm proud to be who I am today. So, you know, I just wanted to leave it on a good note. But next week I'm talking about online abuse, and that is something that I've had just lately, a lot of online abuse. Not some very nice ones neither. So I'm gonna like touch on online abuse next week, and then the week after, I think is it physical or emotional? I put it down anyway. But yeah, so hope to see you next Saturday. If you're not doing anything and you want to come back, I promise I won't cry next week, even though it's good for your soul, good for your heart, to let them tears out, don't block them in. But anyway, thank you everyone. I will go through my messages when I go back through my video, because I'm just going to keep an eye out on who's been coming in and watching, and I just want to get a feel of who's coming in and not, because then I know who's like coming in on the channel. Oh, Steve-O, hello, Steve-O, I'm going to ring you after. I forgot to ring you yesterday. Sorry, mate. Juvix, hello, beautiful. Hi, local. Paul, thank you. Turbo, I hope you're feeling better, because I heard you wasn't very well the other week. Sorry, I will email you. Big respect, Turbo. Bless you all. Michelle Carrington, thank you, darling, for coming in this evening. Big love to you and family. Carl, big love to you. 100%. Rascal. See, I'm going through everyone. See, I wanted to look back on them all. Big love, everyone. Thank you for coming in. And so they say, peace out. Cheeky.